remember what we said.
Oh, right, exactly.
And I
She
don't
got
put
the-
it on the
yeah,
air. You
a
know what I
little
mean? I
more
don't think
free.
we said it, but we said it before we were on air. I can't start yet. All right, cue the music, Lisa. You can turn it down. Awesome. So, hey, Facebook, we have got Darryl Buchanan in the house.
What's up, Facebook?
Oh my
Facebook?
gosh, Motown hero, local legend. We're
Love
so
me
excited
some
to have you.
Motown. I tell you, it got me started. And
That's awesome.
many years ago. This is actually been in the music industry for 39 years now.
No kidding.
Yeah.
39 years. All right. Well, so let me just address the audience a little bit. Wait, we're over here. Sorry. And just remind you, if you are tuning in for the first time and you've never seen Life Inspired, we do this every single Friday morning at 9:30. And we're talking about how life was going along. There was some ... and then God moment in your life.
The movements.
There you go. He did something, and then now he's turned you around a different way, and now you're walking an inspired life.
That's it.
So we're so thrilled to have legendary Darryl Buchanan. Thanks for
Yeah.
being with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's just now that I've looked back at my musical career, I mean, it's pretty amazing, like how many kids from the west side of South Bend, they have their life changed by walking down an alley. And that's what happened to me.
Okay.
You know,
Okay. So you're going to tell us your behind the ... story, right? You're going to tell us
Yeah.
what happened in the background. Okay.
Absolutely.
So what's the background?
Gosh, I came through a lot of stuff. When I was a kid, my parents split up. I think I was 12 or 13 years
Okay.
old. So, I went through that troubled period.
Right.
Not having a male figure around, father around. And, got myself into trying to figure out, okay, where do I belong? So, I kind of drifted over here, I drifted there, and, it's easy to get involved with some not so good things. So, I had to be
Right.
careful of that. I did a few things I could say, well, we all do. That wasn't like too smart,
Right.
but for some reason I always got away from it.
Right.
And it's just, had some issues in school. Just it was just focus.
Right,
I
right.
wasn't sure who I was, and
Right.
and this and that. So it was just one day, and gosh, and I wasn't focused on school at all. Just more, a lot of not being at school, different stuff. Because I'm just gonna, I wanted to grow up too fast because something was like missing.
Right.
Especially when your parents split up.
Right.
Yeah, so it was just one, I went through some time periods, and a few people saw that I had some, musical gifts for a young guy.
Uh-huh.
I was also a great athlete also, but, like I said, I wasn't doing the school thing much.
Right.
So one day, gosh, it was in 1979, I was playing basketball on some courts that is now the Kroc Center. But back in the day, those were just
wow.
some neighborhood basketball courts.
Okay.
So I happened to be jogging, and we had lived in a few places because my mother raised the last four of us, on like her own. So it was, it was there.
Right.
Love was there, but she had to work like so much to
Sure. To
you know,
provide. Sure.
Yeah, to keep everything
God bless
going.
those single moms.
Absolutely. Hey, man, that's the whole reason that I came back to South Bend after a lot of years. And people say, well, why you quit traveling, this and that? Because, hey, mom's first, it's
Awesome.
things that as you grow in spirit and you get older, you just realize what your priorities are.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so it was in 79, and I left the basketball court, and I went down an alleyway because my older brother, his name was Tony, he lived on Napier Street. And so I used to always take the alley to get to his house, and just by chance, it was July or August, and I hit this alley walking, after, shooting hoops. I love basketball. So there was a lady who happened to be in the alley, and now I can look back and say, oh, that was my guardian angel, because this lady that, saw I was a young, curious kid, and there was music come out the building at the time. It was summer, door was open to a building, and I heard like some live instruments playing. So I'm a curious kid, and I want to stop and slow down. And she saw that in me, and she said, "Oh, you like music?" I said, "Yeah, I like music." And she said, "Oh, go in there and listen. That's my husband." And that was all that was said. So she
So
didn't.
her husband's in the building, and you're going to go in the building and hear the music.
Yeah,
Okay.
not knowing who her husband was.
Okay. Okay.
Because I'm a young guy, and I go in there and listen. There's a couple guys in there. There's a drummer, Norman Wilson, guitarist Harvey Williams, and an organist named Lonnie Woods. I'm 17 at the time. So, I get to, listening to them jam, but they didn't have a bass player, but it was just a three-piece band. So I was, I like to hang out. So that went on for about maybe 3 days, I'd play.
You go play and then you
I'd
stop
go
in.
over there, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Band's
Okay.
practicing again.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I think it was the third day that I was just kind of looking, around the building, and I saw some albums laying around. So I started picking them up, and the one album said I'm a Road Runner, and it said Junior Walker on it. And I kind of, was listening to some songs. I was like, hey, it's the same music that my dad was playing, like on the turntable. And I realized who this guy was. It was Junior Walker,
Wow.
one of the world's greatest saxophone players who
Wow.
who was on Motown Records. And he thought enough for me as a kid because I guess the guys, the other guys told him that I played a little bit. So I wasn't great, but I could just hear things and I could play them.
Right.
So I got on there and I played a couple of songs, and it's just weird how I went down the alley, and then like 3 days later, the guy asked me if I wanted to play in his band. He said, "How'd you like to play for me? I'll pay you." And I didn't know if
You're like,
it
what?
was real.
You can pay somebody to play music? You
Yeah,
can
me?
get paid for that?
Yeah, here's a kid that's just out there wondering, what to do and trying to get back
Wow.
in school and different stuff. So then I just remember because at the time we lived, we lived on Harvey Street, which is all the way down to Lincoln Way.
Uh-huh.
So you got Western and you got Lincoln Way.
Okay.
So I just remember that I was in great shape. I ran like all the way to Lincoln Way. And I told my mom, I said, guess what? This guy Junior Walker wants me to play in his band. And from there, 2 years later, I'm sitting on Saturday Night Live and all these different shows and traveling all over the world.
Right.
Because I went down that alley, but I was guided down that alley.
You were. So don't we have pictures of that, TJ? Show the picture of him on Saturday Night Live. So there you are.
That's April 11th, 1981. Yeah.
81.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
me and Eddie Murphy, we were both 19.
No kidding.
Yeah, so it's just now, looking back. And
That's awesome.
Like 26 million people. I just remember being backstage. I asked the guy, how many people are watching this show? And he said 26 million. I wasn't used to that.
Right. We don't have 26 million watching Life Inspired.
Hey, you know
we
what?
do this for one. There's one person that's watching today.
That's it.
That needs to hear
This
the
is
rest
about
of
the
your
spirit.
story. That's
Yeah.
the rest of your story. So show us a couple other pictures. What are some of the other pictures you have up there before we go on to the rest of your story? TJ, show us. Pop up another picture. Thanks. Who's that?
That's me and my current music producer that I work with. That's Don Carlos Passmore from the West Coast, and we do tons of music together. We probably
Awesome.
produce 7 or 8 albums now together. And
Okay. And then
I'm
who's
actually going
this
out
next
there.
one you got?
That's multiple Grammy Award winner Narda Michael Walden, who produced Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, lots of people.
And what have you
over
done
the
with
years.
him? He's doing some of your production?
Well, we did some shows together, but
Oh, did you?
years
Cool.
back, and
Awesome.
he's originally from Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Cool, that's awesome.
Great guy, great spiritual guy.
Okay, don't show the album cover yet. Let me find out what's your ... moment when God said, okay, now the music's not just about the music, Darryl. I want you.
You know what? Being in the music industry, as those who have been in it for many years, you have to be very careful. There's a lot of destructive things that are in
Sure.
the industry, and
Sure.
and I've seen quite a bit of it. It can turn into a very fast-paced life.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had to go through things when I was younger about, like, where is your, as I like to say, where do you choose to get your high from?
Okay.
And some people choose it like in different places.
Sure.
So I had to figure that out, and, you can get it from here or you can get it from here. And I tried it like in both places, but God's high was the best, and I've been there ever since.
So when did that
just the
happen?
joy.
When did you
It
find
was-
out that you wanted God for your high?
I can't tell you the exact year, but I just remember because I went through. Even though a lot of things from your past, sometimes you can just bury them.
Right.
So see, I started traveling all around the world and doing things, so I got to leave a lot of things just in the closet. But as I got older, I had to relive like some things, especially with childhood, and why my parents split up, certain things.
Right.
So once I dealt with that, it was like a relief, and I was like, okay, I don't really need to like feel good for those reasons anymore, and I escaped it, and and all of a sudden the Spirit just came into me, and my music and everything took off. Even after my boss who discovered me, Junior Walker, passed away, I had all that soul and that life in me that I became a leader then. In the Spirit, and just waking up, and you can just feel it. When I get on stage.
So you said something. I feel like almost like there's this closet and there's these things in the closet that you've tucked away that you don't want to talk about. You don't want to talk to God about it. You don't want to talk to people about it. Those are just things in my closet. But if you go in and clean the closet out now, you have cleansed.
That's what happened years ago.
And you're just,
yeah,
it's all clean, and
right,
you don't have to hide that stuff.
Yeah, and you realize like in your life, there's certain things that you can't control. But that's the thing.
There's
now
very little you can control, right?
I can control me when I wake up in the morning and like doing certain things. But a lot of, especially like a lot of youth, because I see it, a lot of kids that come from broken homes and stuff. It's hard to, and I was lucky that I found like a support system who just helped me realize that I had all these music talents.
That's awesome.
Because it's easy to just I just want to hang out with
Right.
with like these guys and do things.
So how'd you find your support system? What can a
Well,
kid's watching? How can they go find a support system?
I always tell people like, because I was one of those guys. Okay, I'm just gonna go run to a room and just like drown myself, like in a bunch of sorrow. But that never solves anything.
Right.
It just makes you feel worse. So just having like two people to just pull you along is better than having 100 people who won't pull you along.
Right.
So that's what I realized. There was a lady named Helen Arnold. I kind of went to like an alternative school when I was younger.
Okay.
Yeah, because I wasn't dealing well in like regular school. And those people, I went to a classroom like from say 30 to a classroom of 6.
Wow.
But that's the tension that I got, and all of a sudden, they lifted me back up, and then like after that, it wasn't within months that I met Alberta DeWalt, who was the wife of famous Motown
Right.
sax player Junior Walker.
Right.
And he, lit the flame in me,
Right.
because you say like, why me? Why did I take that alleyway? Because
That's where God pointed
I would
you.
not have met him.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you have a new single. Show us the cover of the single, TJ. We have a new single. Tell us, how did God prompt you? What's the
This is,
meaning behind the lyrics, and had God prompt you to
yeah.
write this song?
This is Jesus Was There For Me, which I work with my other partner who's in Phoenix, Arizona, Don Carlos Passmore. He's a very spiritual guy too. So we also make, regular secular music, but we have, being from the era that we came from, we always want to include like our spiritual music. And even when we make club music, we try to define ourselves as who we are. We would never just make music for the sake of making money, because the music, which I'm a little bit disappointed in a lot of the music that's out there today, because it's filled with a lot of negativity. And I'm a firm believer that kids soak up a lot of things that are out there, and now they don't have to go to the music store and just grab a record. You have millions now latching on to things that are either gonna help or hurt. So we just pride ourselves on making fun music that doesn't have to involve certain lyrics or certain language. And Jesus Was There For Me was an example that it's a rap song,
Yeah.
but it's rapping about God and Jesus, and there's a female singer on it, Diane Bennett, who also works with us. So we just try to keep our spiritual ground, and no matter how much music we make, and God's always a joy, because that's where everything comes from.
Right.
And it makes it easy.
Right.
It's easy to write a spiritual song, because now it's naturally here.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So
Thank you for
they
sharing.
can find all of our music on iTunes and Amazon.
Great. Okay.
All that. Darryl B and Don Carlos.
Darryl B and Don Carlos
Yeah.
on iTunes
Yeah.
or on Amazon.
Yeah. Jesus was there for me.
Jesus was there for me. And then the one that we were listening to at the beginning that we're going to wrap up with is called
That's
I
We Have
Jesus.
Jesus.
We have Jesus.
Yeah,
We have
yeah.
Jesus.
Featuring Will Cole, and I'm very happy and proud to see a lot of great things going on in our local community now.
Right.
You know, such as TJ 21.
Yeah.
So
We love
you know,
TJ.
yeah, things are growing because we have to, continue to keep the positive more than the negative.
Right.
Because it was weird because I thought, being on stage in front of people like all my life, I'm like, how come, people can't like get along so easily when they're at music? There's a common ground, but when there's no music, it tends to be a lot more tension
Right,
going on.
right.
And it's just, the whole thing is just about love.
Right. Right. Very cool.
Yeah.
I thank you so much. This has been awesome. We typically will tell watchers that if they'd like to maybe have a cup of coffee with you and ask you more about why you walk with Jesus, or maybe maybe there's a kid that would love to talk to you about, hey, I'd like to get involved in the music industry. How would I get started? Can we do that? Can they message us here?
That actually happens a lot. I get a lot of emails from the youth, but anyone that wants to contact me, we do have a recording studio here, and I try to help kids and do
Awesome.
demos and teach them about how to copyright songs. Excuse me. But they can go to my website,
Okay.
which is darrylbuchanan.net.
Okay.
So if you Google me,
We'll put a link. TJ, get a link up there,
Yeah.
and we'll put a link in the
Yeah.
posting. So you'll have to look at the words and get it in the posting.
darrylbuchanan.net, Planet Love comes up.
Planet Love. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Awesome.
So
Great.
absolutely.
So if you want to meet with Darryl and go ahead, play the music. Thank y'all for watching.
Spread
We
some
have
joy.
Jesus, so spread some joy because we have Jesus. Thanks you guys for watching. Have a great, great day.
Take away the darkness.
Give you all this godly light. When you're feeling pain, don't be afraid.